Hello, class, and thank you for joining me for another week two discussion on impact of system thinking. After reviewing the video by Yuri's take on the balcony perspective, the third person, um, and pretty much leveling out conflict, even in the hardest situation, the hardest environments, the possibilities there. One of the things that I took away from the video that stood out to me as far as themes is that um, there are multiple drivers for change, and they can start with us. And by having influence over others by modeling or like just existing in a different way can really take away from the power that is held between conflicts or resistance to change. And in the video about taking the balcony perspective, seeing it at a vantage point that's different from what other people are seeing it from gives you this more, I guess, um more variability of what it could be actually than what you think that it is. So how perspective really pulls on your emotional and behavioral responses to things. Um, Also, I wanted to like really connect some of this video to what we learned in our organizational capacity. It's specifically like identifying like the feedback loops and everything like that. Um, we have Barry Oshry who writes about spatial and temporal blindness within organizational systems, but taking it um, in the respect to the video, how again perspective like spatial blindness is about seeing parts without seeing the whole. So if you don't have that vantage point, you're not seeing the big picture. You're just seeing what's in front of you. And then additionally, like the temporal blindness is about seeing the present without the past. If you only are focused on what is and now, you're not going to look at the history and how things um, have come about, and looking at trends and making the adjustments so that outcomes don't really fall into the redundancy or the repetitive nature that comes with not change or traditionalism and all that stuff. Um, think of a specific scenario in my workplace that has to do with this balconing situation. When we work with parents that are not understanding the system that comes into ABA, applied behavior analysis, when we come in, they think that, um, some experiences I've had are where the parents think that we're miracle workers, like we are the answer, the antidote to or cure to what their family member is going through, and not understanding that it takes time, a lot of trials and practice and administrative of like different programs, and knowing that in the middle of that conflict or like the stress that the family member is sharing, being able to like take a step back and see it through their lens, like take the step back and see it from the balcony, you can have more empathy and understanding that this is very stressful, and don't take it personal, take it for what it is, and do your best to help them see what needs to be seen so that they can follow along and reinforce what we're doing so that they can have better results. A lot of it starts at home. So if we can't see eye to eye, we'll use a third party with a supervisor, because the supervisor is not direct support. They're not there all the time. And a lot of the seeing authority is taken by the parents, and they listen to them more, or they can effectively listen to them more. And then how can you begin to think and act differently in order to shift your thinking of those around you? Yeah, so like I said, just take it for what it is. Know that people are under stress in the field, so you just got to go about it having a good head on your shoulders, taking yourself away from the personal part, and do your job as best as possible. My name is Justin Serrano. Thank you for joining me for this week's discussion. I hope that everybody's doing well.